I am a man.
I'm really curious on where this goes. Hey guys, before we get started, this video is brought to you by Manscaped.com, the global men's lifestyle brand that is disrupting the men's grooming market. Manscaped is trusted by more than 8 million men for their trimmers, their liquid formulations, and their premium boxers. And their Performance Package 4.0 is a game changer when it comes to creating the ultimate men's grooming and hygiene bundle. And first to highlight is the Lawnmower 4.0. Their 4th generation electric trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade designed to reduce grooming accidents and has a 4000K LED spotlight for when you need a more precise shave. Your downstairs might look like punching bags, but you can't treat it that way. And because this trimmer is waterproof, you can trim in the shower and finally say goodbye to a messy bathroom floor. And this Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer also features a smart cordless charging system and these LED lights on the front row to show you how much juice you have, which is up to 90 minutes of full use per charge. And even if you think that's really good, the Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker 2.0 nose and ear hair trimmer. The Weed Whacker 2.0 uses a powerful 7,000 RPM motor with an improvised steel blade system and upgraded cutting performance from their 1st generation Weed Whacker to better whack your weeds. It's cordless, it's rechargeable, has up to 45 minutes of runtime, and is created with proprietary technology which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate nose hairs. Also included in the Performance Package 4.0 kit are 2 products I never knew I needed till now, which is the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and the Crop Reviver Ball Toner Spray. Simply apply the preserver after you shower for an all-day body odor protection. And the Crop Reviver is a convenient Sprites with cooling aloe vera to quickly refresh the area whenever you need it. And Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts with their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Anti-Chafing Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. So go to manscaped.com today and get 20% off plus free international shipping when you use the promo code ThatDudeinBlue at checkout. That's 20% off plus free shipping with promo code ThatDudeinBlue at manscaped.com. The new Z Nismo has finally been unveiled, and I'm really excited about it. There was a ton of speculation around the new Z getting a Nismo version, and that actually provided a lot of answers for a lot of people on maybe some things that might have been lacking on the normal Z. The Nissan Z caused a massive stir in the sports car industry. The entire world was kind of beating the drum of Nissan because we were rooting them on for the new car. And it finally seen that Nissan was taking a step towards progress and towards a different platform. It had a twin-turbo V6, it was manual, it was rear-wheel drive. It's checking the boxes that we want. But then myself and some other journalists drove them, and there was many things that a lot of us agreed on. Number 1, it was too expensive, especially not to have a limited slip differential at the base model. There's a little bit more evidence of 370Z in the car than we initially thought. You can't turn traction control or stability all the way off, and I mean all the way off. It still had ABS and some other stuff, to the point that even if I hit the button and I was going in a straight line at top of 3rd gear and shift into 4th gear, it would pull timing. Yeah, 4th gear, traction control is like, dog, what are you doing? And that's a very niche complaint for crazy drift people like me. And even if you see this as a niche complaint for the average customer, their main rival, this wasn't an issue. When you had Toyota letting you turn off literally everything at any moment, it kind of makes you scratch your head in the Z. Speaking of, the manual Supra at the same price as the top tier trim level of the Nissan Z, I found to be a better car. And this is my opinion, and I will play devil's advocate in a second. And also, the Z didn't give me a ton of confidence in handling capabilities compared to its rivals. It was just a little floaty, and I understand that they tuned the suspension for the masses, so it's not gonna be this super stiff suspension to most people. And the car just left me wanting just a little bit more. And I actually found the GR86, even with half the horsepower, to potentially be more fun to drive at a much cheaper price. Also, I just drove the new Terreno edition of the GR86, so video coming very soon. If you'd like to see that, leave a like below and hit subscribe. The opposition to all these opinions of mine would say this. They would say, well, at least the Z is 100% Nissan. And I agree with them. I completely understand the philosophy of not having a partnership being very admirable. Just doing all the research yourself, not worrying about having to share engines, power plants, transmissions, what have you. But in the other direction, Toyota actually had way more to do with the Supra than we initially thought when it came to research and development. Toyota did mess with the motor, and they did mess with the transmission and the rear end gearing a lot in-house for the manual Supra in particular. But when the Supra was being developed, we were all scared that it was just a rebadged BMW, and the fact that they just didn't really touch it. They said, okay, thanks, bye, thanks for the car, now it's a Supra. It wasn't like that, now in hindsight. And the manual Mark V Supra actually feels more of a distant cousin to the Mark IV Supra now, rather than the unwanted stepbrother. The B58 had Toyota's hands in it, and it's proven itself to be a wonderful engine, especially with the likes of Frederick Osbo. Shout out to Papadakis Racing. Now, why am I talking about all this? Well, this sets the stage to the positioning of the Nissan Z versus arguably its #1 rival. So let's talk about the new Nismo Z, or Z Nismo. What is it? Let's talk about it. So first things first, let's break down the unveil video. I don't know why I found it a little funny at the intro with the little caption down below that says something along the lines of, no, this isn't available to order yet. Basically like, don't call us, it's not ready yet. Because the Nissan Z had so many requests and so many people trying to pre-order it when the car still wasn't ready. I just find that kind of interesting how they're just like, just don't worry about it right now. We're just showing it off in a teaser. Boom, surprisingly, right off the bat, there's the car. No camo, no dark room with bright lights, you know, teasing the body shape of the car like so many people do when they unveil a car. You know, they'll like put it in the shadows and make it a silhouette, and then they'll dramatically dim the lights up or turn the lights up. And you're like, oh wow, there it is. There's finally the car, and you hope you're not disappointed when the lights turn on. But this is in the wild, at a racetrack, and they're just like, here it is. Which I appreciate. I appreciate that they're like, look, we know that you know what the Z looks like. We're not gonna waste your time. Here's what the Nismo looks like. Here's the subtle changes. It's for you to pause through this video to really notice them. And the unveil starts with the legendary Chris Forsberg, super talented Formula Drift driver. He's the driver for Nissan in Formula Drift in a Z, so it makes sense. And he's got the hood pop, and he's checking out the twin turbo V6, and he's kind of like nodding his head going, yeah, this is awesome. But then after going to film school and working on some film sets, my brain unfortunately goes straight to the film set mentality, and I start laughing because I know in the background there's a high possibility that the producer or the director or whatever, as he's holding it up looking at the engine, that they're probably yelling, all right, Chris, now like give us a slight head nod and act like you're really into this thing. Give us a little smirk too. Give us just, yeah, that's the shot right there. Yeah. And that's just how show business works. But it's just funny because that's my mentality. It's like, can we get the slight History Channel's nod and smirk? Nice. No offense to Chris, he's doing his job. But then when he's getting in the car, you get a great look at the refreshed front end. The Z, when it was unveiled, had one major complaint on its aesthetics, and that was the big rectangular mouth grille. People were like, is that a Samsung TV in that front end? God, freaking A, that is huge. We then learned it was so large for cooling. It made sense. For the twin turbo V6, they needed all that cooling to come into the front end. Therefore, the engine runs better. Then Chris gets in the car and you get a freeze frame for a second of what the steering wheel looks like. And there's a nice red stripe down the middle at the 12 o'clock, which is a really nice subtle touch for the Nismo. Nismo is always associated with colors like red, black, gray, things of that nature. And just to see the nice material around the wheel, to see that 12 o'clock stripe, I think it's a nice touch. But the biggest thing in the unveil so far, and remember, this is a teaser and we're just speculating because it's fun. That's why we're here. So take all of this with a grain of salt. The biggest concern for me is when he gets in the car and they show the gauge, and it's an automatic. And that would be, in theory, the weirdest decision of all time if Nissan was like, the Nismo for speed is not getting a manual. It needs to be the fastest that it can ever be. And you can't do that with a manual. Like, I'm pretty sure that they are not ignorant enough to not put the manual in the Nismo Z or Z Nismo. Like, that would be just the weirdest decision, and I would not understand it. So just a little bit of a thing. I'm a little worried about it, but it's just too soon to tell. In this video, it's obviously capable of drifting, so I'm wondering if they are going to be letting you turn off all the nannies in this version of the Z. Because in order to make these shots happen, without that setting, they would have to do some trickery like pull a fuse or something. And why would you advertise your car that it can do this when it can't? I understand you have Chris, you need him to slide the car around, but why would you do that if it just can't do it for the consumer to do a donut even? In the 370 Nismo, you still had to manually wire in your own drift switch to get around all the nannies. So it just might be the same thing. We'll see. We then get a shot of Chris drifting with a thumbs up, and we see the paddles behind the wheel, once again confirming it's the automatic. What we know so far about the Nismo, in the very limited time we see it, we know it has lightweight Recaro seats, lightweight wheels, and bigger brakes. Typically, when you drive a Nismo, you really feel the difference in its suspension, and in the 370Z had a little bit more power. And I mean like that much, and it was also how the power came on. You could only really tell if you drove them back to back. If you drove a stock 370Z and then a stock 370Z Nismo, you could tell the difference pretty quickly. I really like the close-up of this front end because the badge placement on the Nismo is pretty good. I know that's a very weird thing, but have you ever noticed how some car companies will design an entire car and then they're like, oh wait, we have to put our brand's logo on it. Where do we put it? And then you can just tell that it was an afterthought. Yeah, they didn't do that here. It looks pretty good. Then we see the rear, which looks absolutely gorgeous. Has a big diffuser with red ground effects and shows off this gray color, which is subtle but sporty at the same time. The overarching shape on the diffuser itself is really nice. It flows with the car, it flows with the rear end. It doesn't look too boxy or too fluid. It meets right in the middle and has a nice bridge in the back. And it also kind of unveils the diffuser down low. Your eye kind of goes to that shape and then you see where the diffuser is and it looks pretty cool. Then finally at the end of the video, Z Nismo coming soon. And that's all we get. Pretty great teaser, honestly. When it comes to the video itself and production, the teaser is really well done. It gets short and to the point. It says, hey, we're working on this. Be excited. And I am excited. I think the car is going to be really great. I really have a gut feeling that the Z Nismo is going to be really fun to drive. But as always, with new sports cars, it's always the pricing. I know I talk about it a million times on this channel, and I'm so sorry, but dealer markups and things of that nature are the #1 reason why sports cars go away. If companies go, why didn't our sports cars sell? Blame the dealers. People want to buy sports cars, but they can't when it's 40 over sticker.
This is our real first step. You like to buy some chocolate?
Chocolate bars, eh? You guys want to be good salesmen, right? A self-respecting candy bar salesman would be caught dead without one of these. So long, boys. Happy hunting.
And not many people are dumb enough to buy a car 40 over sticker just to have clout points. It's just silly. Most people are not going to do that. I saw one normal Z sell for like $74,000. Like, that is hilariously bad. Hilariously bad. So I'm really hoping that this is not an issue with the Nismo, but time will tell. We'll see. I want to be absolutely clear about this car, and Nissan, if you're watching, I'm rooting for you. I want this car to be a success. I really want to see these things on the road. I want to see them at the track. I want to see people enjoying the redone suspension and the better braking and hopefully a manual transmission. So all these things that I said about the previous Z, it's out of love. I want to see the improvement of this car. I want the Z to be a success, and I think the Nismo is a huge step to making the Z even more of a success. And shoot, people who have the normal Z, they'll probably take notes from the Nismo in the aftermarket or OEM and put Nismo parts on your Z. That's great. That's great for everybody. I want the suspension to be less soft than the normal Z is, and I would be absolutely shocked if that was the case, if it was the same. So I leave the question off to you guys. Any thoughts on the teaser of the Nismo Z? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts down in the comments section below. Also, quick shout out to my detail brand, PattersonCarCare.com. It is my own personal detail brand with original formulas made right here in the US of A. And if you want to just give it a try, we have samples on our website. And on that note, thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate every single one of you guys stopping by, and I will see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.